Well, I'm often asked what spares I take with me when we go stage rallying in our classic Mini. So in this episode, let's run through it. Welcome to the Gentleman's Motor Racing team, where we are competing in motorsport as a fun experience, and we're probably unique as most of our sponsorship is through crowdfunding from lovely people like you. Your support, as always, is hugely appreciated. Thank you very much. Please, in the comments below, let me know if you think there's something that we're missing, you know, extra stuff that maybe we should take, or it's even a stupid idea taking. So for small items, I've got loads and loads of these Stanley, whatever they are, Fat Max boxes. And I've labelled them, there we go, look, spares box number 1. Just inside the service van side door, I've got a clipboard, and on that is a list of the contents of all the different boxes. So all they have to do is then just grab the appropriate box and then have a, you know, hopefully the part that they want is in there. Right, should we have a rummage? I try and keep these boxes so they have almost the same type of thing in there. Obviously, drive shafts. Look, tell you a story. That one's not labelled, but that one is. When we did our first ever stage rally at Bovington, we broke a drive shaft. And of course, I had a spare set, which was great. When I gave them to the service crew, they didn't realise that the drive shafts are different sizes. So they installed the wrong drive shaft. I think it was this one. On the near side, and they went, "It won't fit, Kev, it won't fit, it's too long." And then I went, "Oh yeah, you know they're different sizes," and they went, "No." So yeah, so I don't know why the stickers come off that, but I need to put a sticker on that. So near side, off side. Lesson learnt. Inner CV joint, some nuts. That is obviously a used outer CV joint. It's fine, nothing wrong with it, but it's worth having. A boot, brand new knuckle joints. I've heard horror stories of those snapping. I replace them quite regularly on the Rally Mini. Not after every event, but I remember I replaced them all after the Island Stages gravel event. That's for sure. Oh, engine mount, top and bottom ball joints. Brand new track rod end. Wheel bearings, which one's this? This is got to be front, isn't it? There we go. Hub kit, Timkin with split pins, mini spares. That's front. Yeah, there we go. Front. Spare wheel studs, wheel nuts. What are they? Yeah, front tie bar bushes. There you go. Spare box number 1. New clutch plate, look at that, donated by a patron. Thank you so much for that, really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll never use it. Fan belt, there you go. I get told off for calling it a fan belt on modern cars because they're not, they're known as auxiliary belts, aren't they? But in a Mini it's a fan belt. Spare throttle cable, top and bottom rad hoses, water pump, selection of hose clips, T-cable. What they do at scrutineering, they always want to pull the cable for the cutout or the fire extinguisher, and if they feel that it's, you know, that is actually, that I could do with actually buying a new one. That's, I don't know why. It seemed like a good idea at the time, putting that in there, but considering it's knackered, look, can you see that it's knackered? No. That needs to go on the shopping list. Anyone want to buy us a new pull cable for the team, for our spares department? You'd be amazing. Oh yeah, and that's obviously gaskets for the water pump. Again, I'd like to shout out some of our patrons. Alex Degnan, Keith from Shed TV, Jack Stewart, Matthew Pink, Lee, and of course the legendary Adam Campion. Your support, as always, is hugely appreciated. Thank you very much. Being a Mark II, it runs split handbrake cables. So there you go, that's obviously second hand, but just in case we need it. Front braided brake hoses. Brand spank me new. Rear brake hoses, brand spank me new. All new. Again, a lot of these parts were donated by lovely people like you. So again, thank you very much. Oh yeah, we had this at Bovington another year. We lost a clevis pin out of the rear brake cable. Whoa! We're off. A full set of rear brake shoes. Well, I have no idea what that is. What's the point of having it and not labelling it? Aha! Rear brake slave cylinder. Oh, and the little doodah. In our service toolkit, I've got the special tool for fitting that. That's really good. That's another one of those. So I've got two. That's nice. Set of brake pads. Not the CL brake pads. So on the Mini, we went to Swift Tune. The advice of Nick Swift bought the CL brake pads. So these are just green stuff ones that I had on there before. Can't recommend these pads enough. They're amazing. Oh, look what I've just seen on the bottom. Go on then, identify that. What's that for? Yeah, that's the roll pin that goes in the rod change gearbox. I know our Mini is a Mark II and it really should have a remote gear selector, but it doesn't. Spare but used rally clutch slave cylinder. There you go, a set of second-hand master cylinders. Oh, that's kind of seen some. Again, I really should buy new, shouldn't I? But it's the expense, isn't it? It's the expense. I could go to all the effort of fitting those and they may not work because they've been sat there for so long in their own juices. Well, when the budget allows, things never go back, do they? Come on, get in there. Woo! Not a lot in here, but problem solved. There we go. So exhaust gasket gumph. That's a Filter King. So we run a Filter King fuel filter, a spare filter in there. Obviously a spare fuel pump with the AN6 fittings in there. When I modified our fuel tank to have a swirl pot, obviously this bit of doodah was then redundant, but I thought I'd keep them fittings because you can reuse them. And obviously I might be able to, if we get a fitting that fails, we've got some. Spare intercom. So thank you very much to the people that helped fund the intercom for our Rally Mini. It's an absolute game changer. This is the one that we had before and I didn't really want to throw it away because yes, it still works and it would be a great backup spare just in case. Spare cutout switch. You can't have one that's just basically a battery cutout. You've got to have the proper one that then cuts the ignition and earths the system as well. And obviously a new spare key, and that is the resistor. Oh yeah, this is that's like a pad, bit of glass fibre almost for repairing the exhaust. Bit more gum. This, the reason I chucked this wire in like that, again, when we did the island stages, the abuse our exhaust took was unbelievable, and it just kept on falling off. The guys would jack it up, try and put the exhaust back on, clamp it as hard as they could, and then it would just come off again because the car was bottoming out on all the rocks and stuff on the floor. So I thought, well, maybe if I got something like this, we might be able to, yeah, at least sort of pull the system together if ever that happened. Oh, yeah, there we go, some bits of exhaust mount and just some random stuff that I put in here. Another key. Some switches. These things are amazing, aren't they? Obviously, you know, not great for rallying or anything permanent. For doing electrical bodges, they're great. Bunch of wire, yellow tape. Go on, what's the relevance of yellow tape for motorsport? A lot of people forget when they go to scrutineer, sometimes they'll fail. The negative cable that comes off your battery to the body of your car has to have yellow on it to indicate that it is the earth. And lamps, not bulbs. Electricians hate it when you call these things bulbs, obviously because they look like a bulb. But yeah, technically known as lamps. Oh, there we go, and a headlamp. Lots of space, so maybe I should reorganise some of my other stuff and add more electrical bits in there. Just realised, of course, I have a dedicated exhaust box. All the clamps, random exhaust bits, just stuff. What's that for? Why have I got that? That's a special tool. This is a tool. I think it's something to do with putting on the LCB just to help me do whatever. So this is not a dedicated rally box for exhaust parts. This is my exhaust parts bin, basically. There you go, spare sensor for my air fuel ratio gauge. This is where I keep all my gaskets for building mini stuff. So yeah, the big hole manifold gaskets, yeah, head gaskets, DIY gaskets. So yeah, bits of gaskets. So you know, you can start getting inventive. Got them all. These are all the gaskets that I own. Yeah, absolutely everything in there. Look, even that, which is definitely not mini. Go on, tell me what that's off, because I haven't got a clue. This one is not in a Screwfix Fatmax box because I haven't got a spare one yet. But this is my wildcard box. I've just started doing it. And the reason being is, yes, after the exhaust issue that we had at Goodwood and the rear suspension issue that we had on my mate's Mark 1, we had to get inventive. One of the things, I was tasked to run off and find some metal that we can make some brackets out of. And so this is going to be called the Bodge Box. So it is literally just a bunch of stuff that I've chucked in here that I thought might be useful. So yeah, bits of aluminium, bits of, you know, bracketry that we can make. It is just scrap, you know, a bit of threaded bar, some massive chunky washers. I just went there, oh yeah, tech screws, that would be great for bodging, wouldn't it? Some epoxy glue type stuff. Just, you know, sheets of metal, sheets of aluminium, and whenever I find something that might be useful, I'll just chuck it in that box. Bodge box. Well, that was definitely a good exercise because it's highlighted a weakness in my system. Some of that stuff genuinely needs replacing, and I've got things spread out like the exhaust. The exhaust should all just be in one box. In addition to those things, I also carry a spare alternator, a radiator, and a radiator fan. As I highlighted, we're absolute amateurs at this game, so if you think that we're missing something or doing something wrong, please let us know in the comments below. Right, YouTube thinks that you might be interested in this video here. I'm not going to argue, so until next time, ta-ta for now.